DJ David's got a message for you. Let 3 Frame know. Let Reggie know. Metal Jesus, let him know.
What's good? What's up? Of course. Please do me a favor. Do me the biggest favor. Matter of fact, do yourself the biggest favor.
What's that, DJ?
Let Bieber know, and let Wayne know, and let Quavo know. My house.
Warehouse.
Celebrate life.
That's right.
Success,
Big titties.
and all blessings. We the best.
A level 1. Let's talk about some money games. Let's speculate. Let's speculate. I got some cool games here. What makes them cool? The money. Alright, what's going on here is going through my stuff here at the house. Not the warehouse, the house. Looking at my stuff like, what would I trade for if somebody had a bunch of stuff at a trade event? What kind of stuff would catch my eye? I'd be like, dude, I want to trade for that. And I just stacked it up. Stuff I would trade for. And then as I looked over it, alright, not the right song for right now. Let's put a better song on. Let's turn it up. So I started looking over it. And I was thinking like, you know, honestly, some of this stuff is super hot. By that I mean like, it's gonna jump on you if you don't act quickly. And then there's other stuff where it's like, yeah, I could see another 10 years going by and it doesn't really change that much in value. I'm talking really obscure stuff. But then again, that really obscure stuff always has that potential of getting a Metal Jesus, some kind of YouTube talking head exposing some really obscure low print title that has some gamer merit to it. Something about it that makes a YouTuber love it, talk about it, and then there's only a few copies to go around, and it doesn't surface very often. So that could pop off in price, but it's one that's not gonna organically get there, as opposed to a title like this, where this one's just gonna jump on you. There's nothing you can do to prevent it. You can see what it's going for right now, auction style CIB. You can see the new old stock cheap floor on eBay, which keeps rising, by the way. I mentioned this title last year. I think it's gone up by 15 bucks. The new old stock guy. I think it's probably Deal Tavern, one of those Shopville, one of those places that I talk about. There's sellers that have the new old stock. So there's titles I'll advise to buy. You can invest in them. You can try to corner the market on it. You'll make money. And then there's other ones that are just like, hey, if you get an opportunity, if you're a DS collector, like, maybe go out of your way to secure a copy of an obscure, cheap title that, if it ever did get talked about, if it ever did get loved on by some YouTube talking head, you're going to wish you bought it sooner. But again, not necessarily your highest priority. Just some random titles. Let's talk about them. Falling off the table. Give you my take, give you my thought on each one. Give a rough value. I didn't check eBay for what it's going for right now, but I have a rough idea on all these titles. Next. So with Contact, you got Atlas, you got DS exclusive, you got Suda 51 being part of this game. Suda51's becoming your popular, your Quentin Tarantino is to cinema, as Suda51 is to game design, artist, mature, sexual themes, drugs, alcohol, blood, violence, all of it. He likes to inject those adult themes into his video games. High style points, always visually trippy, visually aesthetically pleasing video games. Now, Suda51 wasn't the lead director on this title. In fact, it was such a side project that he's known for just creating this dog character, this little sidekick that's in the game. I guess he designed the character and wrote the character. So he was involved with some of the story writing in this game. What this game has going for it, though, is that a lot of gamers out there will make parallels between this and Earthbound. The visual style, the just weirdness of this RPG. Atlas, low print. Here's my little gimmick on this title, is it's hard to look up on eBay. You'll have to do a lot of search subtractions to get rid of results that are going to show up when you type in contact DS. There's going to be a lot of junk, which allows nice CIB copies to kind of slip under the radar sometimes. Maybe if you're searching titles and descriptions, it's going to be really hard to find this mixed up in a lot on eBay. A lot of 12 DS games with a DS system, contact snuck in there. You know, other resellers and other collectors are gonna notice the listing, but it's gonna slip a little bit, you know? There's just opportunities to be thrifty and scoop this one slipping on eBay. I want to say it's probably around a 50-er CIB. Definitely one I see going north of 100. Maybe 200. It's fucking Atlas CIB DS. That's how it goes. So that's one I recommend investing into. People that like video games, like to play them, something to enjoy there, something to add to the collection, you'll enjoy it. Very hard to find, lots of upside with contact. Next. So what's up with this title, the ABC Murders? This one actually caught me by surprise just a year ago. I've never seen it, never heard of it, but it's that genre that a lot of people get into on the DS. A lot of people like the DS for its bottom, it's 2-screen, touchscreen on the bottom. Great for genres like Hotel Dusk, Ace Attorney, your digital graphic novel type games that might have a little bit of minimalistic gameplay mixed in there. But it's mostly story-driven type games like that. Lots of hand-drawn illustrations, lots of dialogue options, just those kinds of gameplay experiences. I think that genre ages well. You know, 50 years could go by, and people aren't going to be judging these games for their video fidelity, for their gameplay qualities. It's mostly about the story and the experience that you get out of it. You got Dreamcatcher as a publisher. Fucking music. I thought I could jive to some music and talk, but it's difficult. Let's see if I can put something better on. Something I can jive to, something a little slower. One sec. This should be good. Let's chill out. So Dreamcatcher does a lot of PC ports. I think they came around early 2000s, maybe late 90s. You see them on some PS1 games that tend to be very low print. Most of them are PC ports. One of the rarest, most expensive games that comes to mind when I think of Dreamcatcher is Pink Panther on PS1. Well known, hard one to check off the list if you're going for a full set, or if you're just going for, you know, a set of quality, hard to find PS1 games. Pink Panther kind of makes the list. Good platformer, very hard to find. No doubt this game is low print. Before making this video, I haven't checked eBay to see how many copies are listed or what it's going for. I would guess 15, 20 on this game. Not going to see many copies. I would guess probably less than 10 for sure. So if that one piques your interest based on what I described about it, go for it. Here's another one. Deep Silver, kind of similar to Dreamcatcher. A lot of PC ports. This was a PC game. Works well on the DS. Seems optimal for the DS. There's a sequel, PAL only, I believe, for DS. Definitely didn't come out in America, but again, I believe there is a sequel that's PAL for that game. This is a cool one. This is one I really like for short-term upside. Kind of, again, when I say like games like Contact, might want to prioritize, go for it sooner than later. This is another one. Pops up CIB twice a month. Very hard to find. Unlike the Wii version of Elevits, which is a completely different game. This doesn't play anything like the Wii version. This is more of an SNES era top-down action RPG. Think like Secret of Mana. Much more like that. Great visuals. Great Konami production here. Nice thick manual. Just everything about this is AAA. Just very low print, very hard to find. So lately I think it's around a 30, 35er shipped on eBay. No doubt this one goes over 100. Just watch. Front Mission is a game that I believe used to be very pricey on DS. And Square Enix is known for doing reprints late in a console's lifespan. They'll do, for example, like I remember about 5 years ago on SquareEnix.com's website for Black Friday, all of a sudden there were copies of Chrono Trigger. Most of the Dragon Quest games that were out of print and very pricey were suddenly like $10 for a reprinted brand new copy. With the Chrono Trigger reprint, there was no map, so you do have some kind of distinguisher between OG print of Chrono Trigger on DS and then the reprint. I'm guessing a lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize that if you get your hands on a CIB Chrono Trigger that has that map, you got a very rare first print of it for what it's worth, you know. But a lot of people are passing around the reprints for just as much money, so try to lean, like, if you're getting Chrono Trigger, try to get a copy with the map if you can. They're all expensive, so get the map version anyways, even if you gotta pay an extra $20. But yeah, so Square Enix does that often, but their games are such high demand that their reprint runs can get bought up and secondary market can explode, as it always does with high quality titles. So Front Mission is another one of those games that was starting to go well above MSRP when it first came out. Price $40. It's going pre-owned for like 60, 70. Reprint hit it, and that reprint is still holding it down, where there's sellers with depth on this title selling it brand new for around like 35, 40, 45-ish. That's not going to last forever. So Front Mission, one I recommend scooping while that new old stock is keeping it down. Maybe an auction for a CIB you might be able to catch for like 25 or something. Do it. Front Mission. That'll be over 100 one day. Maybe not. We'll see. This is just a gee whiz one. You know, this game popped off to over $200. Be aware. Not the same game as the other Dragon, Blue Dragon. What is it? Awaken. This is Awakened Shadow. Blue Dragon Plus. Blue Dragon something Plus. That's a tactical RPG. This is way more PS1 era JRPG. So it makes sense it would have much more demand. Much lower print. D3 stuff, man, can be very low print. I think Coraline on the DS, Coraline on the Wii. Fuck, man, there's a lot of other good Japanese-made, localized by D3, published games that are very low print, high quality. So when you see a game that has all the makings of a quality title, a title that you want for gameplay for your collection, and D3's on your video game, D3 published it, that's a good sign. Electroplankton, by far your rarest Nintendo first-party game on the DS. I remember this game when it first came out. It was less than a year old, and pre-owned copies were selling for like 60, 70. Then again, at that time, Lost in Blue, first one on DS, hadn't been reprinted yet. That game was going for like 80. Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow hadn't been reprinted yet. That game was going for 90. So the DS was kind of like the Switch at first, where it was really hot that first year. Certain software was completely sold out, and until reprints hit, they were starting to explode. Something to keep in mind for like Switch collecting and stuff. You know, you think you're smart, you think you're paying 120 for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, like expect a reprint to bring it back down. But Electroplankton, a lot of people aren't familiar with this title. It was featured in Smash Brothers Brawl. There's it doesn't show screenshots. There's a certain level, probably the most iconic level, the best mini game in this game, and they used that stage, this mini game, as a backdrop in Super Smash Brothers Brawl. I mentioned it's this mini game here, the one with the plant where you adjust the leaves on it. This game right there. And I mentioned the Brawl reference because that's just a little perk that all your Smash fans that geek out about all things Smash Brothers are going to be familiar with that stage. If they ever do a little bit of homework on it, they'll say, what is that game from? Why is this in Smash Bros? Why is there an Electroplankton trophy that I can unlock? What is Electroplankton? It's just a gateway to exposure on Electroplankton. When they look into it, they'll say, oh shit, it's rare, it's pricey. I love how you can't possibly reproduce this case insert, no matter how high quality case insert prints become. This one, absolutely, you can make one indistinguishable, wouldn't be able to tell. Impossible to do with Electroplankton. Manual is a different type. As you see there, different than your typical glossy type DS manual. I don't have a manual for this one. So you can't reproduce this. It's nice. Low print, just fucking cool one. I did buy into this one. I probably got 6-7 copies. What's my target? Definitely north of $100 before I start selling. You could probably scoop them for still around 50 or less CIB. One to prioritize, in my opinion. Why do I like Starfy? Well, there's a lot of Starfy games that only came out in Japan. I believe the series started on GBA, maybe earlier than that. Maybe there's like a Super Famicom Starfy game. Maybe there's a Game Boy Color Starfy game. But this is the only Starfy game we ever got in America. Being that it's a long-running series in Japan, I would say it's possible that in Japan they say, hey, we're going to put a new Starfy game on the Switch. Well, that would blow the fuck up out of your DS Starfy. You get a lot of Kirby vibes from it. Very first-party Nintendo, cutesy, charming platformer, high quality. Got a lot of quality attributes going on here. Little common, but for what it is, for around 15-20 bucks, CIB Starfies. I don't know if it's still around there, maybe 20, 25 now, but this game would pop the fuck off. I'm talking $75, $80 for this stupid game if they brought out a new Starfy game. So it's got that upside going for it. Also just long-term Nintendo first-party quality games that people are going to want in their DS collection. They're going to want it CIB for what it's going for now. Can't go wrong with Starfy. Henry Hatsworth is my favorite DS cheap title investment. I absolutely love this game. I think it's brilliant. Very high quality platformer here. Reminiscent of like, I'd say kind of Ninja Gaiden like, kind of I'd say a closer parallel might be Ghouls and Ghosts, where precision platforming, making your decisions. It's not like Ghouls and Ghosts where once you jump, you're on a parabola trajectory. There's no controlling from there. Like, I'm getting specific now, aren't I? But it definitely requires platformer skills. Very difficult platformer. It also has Tetris Attack mini game constantly going on, where you get punished if you're not hitting your puzzles really quick, clearing out the bottom screen. Brilliant fucking game design here. Really fun game. Directed by a guy named Peter Ong, and I believe he did most of the work on this game. Probably didn't do the music, but did, not sure if he did the art either, but this game plays very similar to another Peter Ong game. He did 2 DS games. Peter Ong. Henry Hatsworth, published by EA. A lot more common than Monster Tale, which was published by Majesco. Much harder to find. Higher demand too. Therefore, expensive game. That's like a close to $100 CIB title there. Monster Tale. One sec. One second. Don't have a CIB at the moment. There you go. Monster Tale. Check gameplay for both Henry Hatsworth and Monster Tale. Brilliant games. Peter Ong. Master craftsman. But for what this one's worth, 15, 20 bucks, absolutely snag Henry Hatsworth. And enjoy it. Will it go up? I'm forcing that one up, to be honest with you. I'm not selling my copies until they're 50, 60. Reseller Reggie will likely see this video, so he can't talk about it. He can't do me that solid, you know? I've got a good amount of this game. But Metal Jesus won't be able to help himself. He'll eventually play it and say, this is a hidden gem. I have to talk about Henry Hatsworth. So it's a ticking time bomb. Eventually it's going to get loved on by a talking head. They'll blow up. And then I'll be there to, as soon as the video comes out about Henry Hatsworth, I'll be there on eBay to scoop up all the pre-owned copies so that people panic for it, and then they start paying 50, 60, 70 for Henry Hatsworth. That's how it's going to go. Dragon Booster. It's an okay game based on some Saturday morning cartoon that I'm not familiar with, but it's Konami and it's low print. So Dragon Booster's a good one. It's a good one for what it's worth, you know. Probably around a 30-er. I could see 60 in the future. Not too spicy, but one to just be aware of. If you're collecting DS, get it sooner than later. Panzer Tactics, I noticed, was very low print or low circulation, just not a lot out there to buy online. And it's a hex-based strategy game. I wrote around 25, but I also write name your own price. I guess there's probably none on eBay when I looked it up. So, being that it's a tactical, hex-based grid strategy game, maybe reminiscent of Advance Wars, I don't know. Has the makings of a title that is going to get pricey if ever talked about. Robocalypse is an RTS. Tecmo published. Low print. Looks cool. I just watched gameplay of it and looks like it's got some good humor elements to it. Quality looking game. I just like Tecmo, hard to find, and I like the genre, so Robocalypse. Time Ace is a three-dimensional, it's not Star Fox, it's not on rails, so fly around and do missions. Looks okay gameplay wise, but again, Konami, very hard to find, so for what it's worth, 15, 20, it won't be able to sustain that. Too many people just see the cover. That's the other thing, shelf appeal. Konami, and look at that cover. They can't help themselves. So grab that one before it's $50. This is a gameplay demand title. This is one that people hear about and they say, wow, I need that. I would love to play that. I'm a big Metroid fan. I love Super Metroid. I love all things Metroid. I love Castlevania. I love Scourge, The Hive. Orcs and Elves is a good gameplay one. Runs off of a Doom engine. It's like Doom meets... It's kind of like a Kingsfield action RPG. First person. I want to say it's almost Mystery Dungeon style. Like I talked about with Tornico. I believe that's how it works, where you take a step forward and the enemies all move also. But it's first person, runs off Doom. id Software, there you go. This is just one that's going to be going up. Guaranteed. Simpsons. Just watch out for that. I believe it's around a 25er now. 60, 70 in the near future. That will likely happen. Being Simpsons. Being low print. Last two are the best two, in my opinion, of this list. Reggie already loves Miami Law. I get Snatcher vibes from Miami Law. If you ever played Snatcher, familiar with Snatcher, like what I talked about with that ABC Murders game, it's a digital graphic novel with some light gameplay mixed in there. But you're mostly playing it for the story, for the branching paths that you can take. You know, gives it some replayability. Just a cool one for your mature collectors out there. Guys with exquisite taste. Beyond just your JRPG and shmup lovers, you know, you got some fancy titles like Miami Law, very hard to find. And Phantasy Star Zero. If you're a Phantasy Star fan, Phantasy Star Online, Phantasy Star Universe, if you like the action RPGs, Phantasy Star. Well, this one is very reminiscent of PSO, Dreamcast Phantasy Star Online, whereas like the PSP Phantasy Star games are running off the Phantasy Star Universe engine. So for those that know, for those that are Phantasy Star nerds, a lot of people just prefer PSO over PSU. This is much more PSO. I loved it, man. Love this game. Very fun. Infinite replayability. Very fun to get. If your buddies are into it, have them get a copy, you get a copy, play together, sync your DS's up, play Phantasy Star Zero. Mostly new old stock is what's circulating on eBay. People want this game, they have to buy it new because not a lot of people want to sell it. Not a lot of pre-owned copies hit eBay. So PS Zero, around like a 35 or 40 or CIB, just keeps shooting up. I still recommend it because it's one of those games that'll be, new old stock goes away, impossible for this one to stay under $100. This is a full set 64 kind of piece that's going to be rising in price just as more and more people get down to 20 carts to go. Rat Attack is commonly on the list. Very hard to find N64 cart that isn't a sports title. There's a lot of sports titles too that make that list where people just sleep on the cheap ones, sleep on the sports titles. I can always get those later. So there's some good hard to find checklist items for your full set 64 guys that are sports. But what gets noticed first are titles like Rat Attack, titles like Starshot, where you're missing it, you only have a few to go. You're still going to prioritize titles like this over your sports titles that you need for your full set. So that's Rat Attack. It's around a 45er right now. Probably hit like 75 plateau, at around 75 I would speculate. So it's a hard one to want to buy into. I was thrifty and bought into this title when it was like 20, 25. So I have a good amount of them still holding, waiting for 75. Now Starshot has great gameplay merit. gameplay demand. That's what you like in a rare game. Very fucking rare. What holds this game down is presence of sealed copies. One of those under-circulated games where probably for the past 5 years there's been more sealed copies that have circulated and sold on eBay than CIB. There's probably been just as many sealed ones as card only, nearly. That sealed supply is running out. The only sealed copies you see on eBay are beat up. It's one where you see a 100% CIB copy that's priced off of sealed, so he's saying like, I'll do buy it now 120, buy it now 130. It's in nice shape, full CIB, fantastic investment. In fact, try to beat me to it. This is one I'm trying to buy into before it's too late. I see the cart hitting 150, maybe higher. It's that kind of rare, and just people are sleeping on it. People aren't aware of Starshot. Good game, exclusive to 64. It's on PC also, that doesn't count. So, high priority one there, Starshot, very high priority. Goemon's Great Adventure just has that upside of Mystical Ninja series getting a Switch release. Konami is constantly like renewing that IP, that copyright, trademark, whatever, on their Mystical Ninja series. There's always been speculation, always rumors going around about a new Goemon title coming out. So this is your rare one. You got Mystical Ninja, very high demand title. That one's just mildly uncommon. This game's truly rare. So, is it going to be 150, 200 for a nice card? I absolutely believe so. Almost done here. A few more. Onimusha Blade Warriors is a Smash Bros. Clone. It's the rarest game that has Onimusha in the title on PS2. Second rarest would be Dawn of Dreams, the very last 2-disc Onimusha game on the PS2. Dawn of Dreams is one that goes for probably twice as much as this title. This game's much rarer, but it kind of makes sense that it doesn't get as much pressure behind it as Dawn of Dreams, because Dawn of Dreams is part of your Onimusha storyline. People that are fans of Onimusha need that game, where this one's not so much a need, but it's kind of what I like about it, is people just keep sleeping on it. Has that upside of you never know when a YouTuber is going to talk about his favorite Smash Bros. Clones of all time, and this one just has to make the list because there's not that many Smash Bros. Clones out there that are worth talking about. So Onimusha, Blade Warriors, Capcom, CIB for $20 right now.